Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Morgan Hill Farms. I'm out here a little early this morning. It's like 55 degrees and a bit chilly. The grass is wet, so I'm trying to walk so I don't get my sneakers and socks wet as I'm coming over here. But I got up a little early this morning. The kids are all inside sleeping right now. I feel like everybody has kind of had this sickness running through them. So I'm hoping by giving them a little extra sleep, they can kind of kick that. Nate got it first and then a couple of the kids. So we'll see how they're all feeling today. But I wanted to bring you guys over here and show you our chicken coops here. So we've got 3 coops here behind me. We started with this coop when we moved from our last property. We're actually really lucky to have a friend that has a bunch of equipment. So he actually loaded this up on his trailer and brought it to the new property for us, and we set that up. So that's kind of what we started with here. Then, as we wanted to increase the number of chickens that we had, Nate built this coop for us. And then we were left with this small area in between, and we actually had a chicken at the time that was getting really picked on. So we just kind of put some chicken wire there, a little roof, and then built a small little nesting area where they could get a little bit of cover. And so that's sort of like our 3rd coop. But this has worked out really, really well, because what I do is when I hatch babies out, or if I'm getting something from a hatchery, which isn't typical, typically we hatch them out now, I will put them in this coop here. And the reason is because they can grow up and they have chicken wire between them and this coop and that coop. So they get to kind of interact with all the chickens, and then by the time that we're ready to incorporate them into whichever flock they're going into, there really isn't any problems. I actually have a lot of roosters right now because we hatched out some babies maybe 6 months ago or so, so I've got a lot of roosters here and they're kind of loud. But over here, you can hear them all. Over here I got pretty zealous one year at the hatcheries and wanted to get all of those pretty colored eggs. I originally just had done like high production reds because I was so focused on production and food and preparedness, but then I kind of got into that whole colored egg basket. So we have a lot of Americanas, a lot of cuckoo Morans, cream leg bars that give you that beautiful blue egg. And I want to say there's probably about 20 birds in here. These guys, the babies right now in the center coop, those are just a barnyard mix because I hatched those guys out. And then over here, this is interesting, and this is something you guys might think about doing. These are our Delaware chickens, so they're all white. There's about 6 hens in here, and of course we have a rooster. And what we were running into with meat birds is that, I should say these guys are a dual purpose. So they are meat and eggs. They grow up a bit bigger than your typical high production egg layer. And we got these guys for meat birds. And the reason that we did that was because we were running into problems with the hatcheries canceling our orders, either for bird flu, they didn't have the stock, whatever it was. And we were having a really hard time getting chickens. And so we essentially now have our own breeding stock. I can just simply collect eggs over a few days, hatch them out. And then when these chickens reach about, 16 to 18 weeks, they are old enough to process. So you can have your own chickens. And if you're not hatching anything out, you get eggs from them. And that's important because right now into October, our egg production is really, really slacking. I want to say maybe we have about 30 chickens total. Right now we're maybe getting 12 eggs a day. These guys are not your high production chickens, so that hurts us, but also the decrease in the day length. And so, unfortunately, eggs are pretty much a staple here. And so I'm hoping that we can make do with what we are getting from these guys through the winter. But you can see up here in these coops, I actually went to Tractor Supply. They had those on clearance one day, and the gal gave me a really good deal on them. I asked her for an additional discount, and they did that. Don't ever be afraid to do that at the stores, especially in this economy. You'll be very surprised. Lowe's, Tractor Supply, a lot of them will discount their clearance stuff even more just to move it off the shelf. But anyways, I got those. I think they were like $5 a piece. They're just little solar lights, and those actually really help to keep the production up in these chickens over the winter months. And so I know a lot of people don't like to do that. They don't like to, they think maybe it stresses the birds out. But for us, I need eggs, and so that's just what we do here. This is my medicinal herb garden behind me. I had a ton of volunteer dill come up, and I'm just kind of letting that go until that first frost. I'm going to harvest it right before that, and then we'll dry it all, so we'll have a really good a really good supply of dill this year for making all that homemade ranch dressing and things like that. You can see on here there's a bunch of little caterpillars. I think that these are black swallowtail butterflies. I'm gonna look that up. I might be wrong about that, but I like to just let these guys kind of do their thing because we love to see the butterflies. We have a ton of butterflies. But we'll take a little walk up here. This morning I got up, guys, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I got up this morning and I just kind of felt uneasy. You know, I don't know if it's that, you know, I just got that tax bill in the mail for our property taxes. I told you guys about that in a previous video. So of course I saw what that increase really looked like on my taxes. And it kind of makes you sick. You know, you think about the economy and the government and everything like that. And anyways, I just, you know, usually I wake up and I'm really excited about the day and just really, I don't know, I'm kind of motivated, and you know, God's mercies are new every morning, and I think, gosh, you know, let's go, let's get going, let's do some stuff. We're going to be busy today, we're going to be productive. The mornings are always just a really cheerful, exciting time, but this morning it just felt like something wasn't right. I just felt uneasy, kind of down, kind of hopeless, and you know, and I just start thinking, you know, gosh, in the grand scheme of things, you know, my kids are healthy, we have a roof over our heads. We've got a beautiful garden. We've got animals. I can sit on a front porch and drink a cup of coffee, and I'm thinking, man, what am I complaining about? But I think a lot of you guys can relate. It's kind of this feeling of helplessness, kind of this feeling of just like, you know, a loss of control. You know, what can we do about these increasing taxes? What can I do about the increasing costs that I can't avoid at the supermarket? And I don't know, I just wanted to share that with you guys this morning. I don't often feel like that, but when I do, if I can just get outside into the garden or, you know, start doing some chores or something like that, it actually really, really helps to, I guess, just kind of kick that out. It's something about being outside to sort of raise your spirits and stuff. But I think a lot of people can probably identify with what I'm saying. You know, I've looked at Nate lately, and he is just working his tail off at work, and gosh, he's tired. You know, he comes home, he has dinner, and then he goes in his home office and he's working till the, you know, the early morning hours, and I can just see it in his eyes, you know, and I think, gosh, what can I do to help him? How can I help him with his work? I mean, I obviously can't do his job for him. Heck, I can't even really help him with it. But what can I do? You know, and it kind of just does. It makes you feel a little hopeless and stuff. But I just want to encourage you guys today that there are things that you can do. Get outside, grow something, do something to, I guess, improve your situation. You know, that could be a garden bed, that could be getting some chicks, you know, and raising those and starting to get some egg production, cutting back at the store, making a budget so that you're not overextending yourself. There's always something that you can do, and I just want to encourage you guys today to do that. Really quickly, while we were out here in the driveway, I wanted to show you my little collection of plants here. So I have a Myers lemon tree. This guy will be ready to harvest in December, although I'm not seeing many flowers on it this year. Every year I have a ton of flowers, so we're not 100% sure. I do also have some little key limes, and they have a bunch of limes all over them. You can see this guy here, he is just flowering like crazy. And then I have my green stalks behind me. I've got one that's not planted out. I need to get some lettuce into that, so I'm gonna get my button gear and I'm gonna get that done today. But this guy here behind me, he has beets. We've got a lot of those shorter day variety tomatoes that we've talked about before, you know, the ones that didn't take long to mature. Some of these guys even have flowers on them now. They look absolutely beautiful and healthy. I've got some lettuce and some escarole in this one, and then finally in the last one I have some more lettuce, a little bit of bok choy, and some spinach in there. But these are green stalks. I love these. They can roll right into my garage if the frost comes, and I've got some frost tender plants. I can protect them in the garage. Every year I do amend these. I'll go ahead and empty out half half of the soil in this and put in some good compost, some vermiculite. Vermiculite helps to hold moisture, and especially in containers, that's really important because obviously there's no irrigation system here. So you're either having to water these every day, or that vermiculite helps to hold the moisture in there. And I really love these things. We've hit these with a vehicle, we've backed up into them, and they're still perfect. So I love them. They're made in the USA. If you guys can get something like this, it really helps to extend your harvest. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out here. I'm gonna go down to the garden. I'm gonna weed. I'm gonna start some more lettuce. I'm gonna start some microgreens. We're gonna do some stuff today. I'm gonna get out of this little I guess mood that I'm in. But I just wanted to share that with you guys today. I'm just trying to, kind of be, keeping it real and just sort of share with you guys, because I'm sure some of y'all feel the same way. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get busy. I'm gonna go in and see if any of the kids have kind of gotten up yet. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.